Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Icejade Yugioh deck profile for post-Battle of Chaos. We actually got the first support for Icejades in the Burst of Destiny booster pack, but we didn't really have enough to make a complete Icejade deck until Battle of Chaos. With the release of the latest set, we actually got some pretty awesome support. It's mostly a water deck that focuses on special summoning out other water monsters from your hand or graveyard, or setting up other cards from your deck, utilizing the different Icejade monsters, including a more defensive playstyle that can easily go on the offensive when you control specific Icejade monsters. I wanted to stay as pure as I could to the Icejade monsters for the main focus of the deck, but having only a couple of them, even with the release of Burst of Destiny and Battle of Chaos, I'd add in some more or less generic water support to help with the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Icejade monsters, I am running 3 of the Icejade Tremora. It's an aqua monster. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon 1 water monster from your hand. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can banish this card to special summon 1 Icejade monster from your hand or graveyard except for Tremora. And you can only use each effect of Tremora once per turn. So just having an option from the hand to special summon a water monster from your hand gives you access to some of the higher level Icejade monsters in your deck much more easily, like the new Icejade Cosmoclore, which is the new secret rare from the Battle of Chaos set, and also having the special summon option for an Icejade monster along with the first send effect from your hand means you can also special summon a water monster, so you can even special summon Barrier Statue of the Torrent from your hand onto the field, locking out your opponent from special summoning anything aside from water monsters. I also run 3 of the Icejade Agarine. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Icejade spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets this card, with this card for an attack, a quick effect, you can activate this effect the rest of this turn. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or a card effect, and it is not destroyed. So for this option, for the effect for this card to be destroyed by either one of these effects, it stops that play. And also you special summon 1 water monster from your hand or graveyard, except for Icejade Agarine, and return it to the hand during the end phase. You can only use each effect of Agarine once per turn. It's more of a defensive playstyle, but having 2,000 defense makes it a little more difficult of a card to get over altogether to begin with. And also working with the spell and trap card search, we do have a couple Icejade spell and traps that we run in the deck, including Icejade Cradle, which is our searcher, and the trap, which is one of the new cards from the Battle of Chaos set, which is Icejade Erosion. For some of the lower numbers for the Icejade monsters, I also run 2 Icejade Octi. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 water monster from your hand to the graveyard to draw 1 card. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can banish this card to special summon 1 Icejade monster from your hand or graveyard, except for Octi. And you can only use each effect of Octi once per turn. So more special summon resources. The good majority of our extra deck are water monsters, so relying on the water playstyle doesn't really lock us into anything but plays we can use from our extra deck. So the more and more water monsters we have, and being a level 4 water monster means we can also summon out Bahamut Shark pretty easily with our next level 4 monster, which is Icejade Tanola. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 water monster in your graveyard, and send this card from the field to the graveyard to special summon that targeted monster. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can banish this card to special summon 1 Icejade monster from your hand or graveyard, except for Icejade Tanola. So all of these resources come down to just what you have available to special summon. Since you can't special summon monsters of the same name, you at least have access to some of the 3 ofs that we run, including Agarine and Tremora, to summon onto the field, giving you the different resources available to you with your Icejade monsters. A lot of them are different level, but at least we can utilize the fact that Tanola and Octi are both level 4s to get some rank 4 plays with the extra deck. And for some of the higher level Icejade monsters, I run 2 Icejade Cosmoclore. Now this could potentially be a 3 of. I'll show you what water monster in the main deck I would take out for a additional copy of this card. If a face-up card is in the field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Icejade Cosmoclore once per turn this way. And while Icejade Sinnoh and Nojin Cradle is on the field, monsters with your opponent control can only activate their effects the turn they are summoned. And if your Icejade monster battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster loses 1,000 attack during damage calculation only. So the card for the Yugioh Cradle is the field spell, which is also used to set up this card on the field, and then also giving you the play that if your opponent has any monsters that linger on the field, they really can't do much else with those monsters the following turn. So yeah, like I said, this is a potential 3 of. I'll show you in just a bit what you can take out for a third copy, with us also running one Icejade creation, Kingfisher. You can target one water monster you control, equip this card from your hand or field to it. An Icejade monster equipped with this card can attack while in defense position, and if it does, apply its defense for damage calculation. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can target one monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the equipped monster's defense and special summon this card, and if you do, return the targeted monster to the hand. So I don't really know why they gave us a sort of super heavy samurai play style in the deck, but it does come in handy with our higher level Icejade monster being able to attack in defense position, having 3,000 defense, meaning that you'll attack with those defense points to hit for a good amount of cards your opponent may have, and also be able to bounce those cards by special summoning this card back onto the field. For more of the generic water support, I'm also running 3 Barrier Statue of the Torrent. Now, with the option with Tremora for some of these special summoning from a water monster from our hand, it means our normal summon can be taken up by an Icejade monster just by using Tremora to special summon Barrier Statue of Water onto the field, and the entire extra deck is water, so we really won't be limited to our playstyle when having this card out on the field. I also run 3 White Stingray for the final card in the main deck for the monsters. This is so I can have access to some synchro plays as well. Like I said, there's really no restriction on special summoning aside from just the Icejade monster special summoning monsters aside from themselves. White Stingray, you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding 1 water monster. You can only special summon White Stingray once per turn this way. If it's special summoned from the graveyard, you can treat it as a tuner monster. You can only use this effect of White Stingray once per turn. So if it is summoned from the graveyard, you have the tuner play, which gives us access to some synchro monsters that I am running in the extra deck. But White Stingray is also a level 4 monster, so it can be used along with the level 4 monsters like Barrier Statue of the Torrent, and also Tanola and Acti for the rank 4 plays. That's it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I'm running 3 of the Searcher, which is Icejade Cradle. You add 1 Icejade monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards you control or in your graveyard. So it's just a search power. We run a good variety of all the different Icejade monsters, so as long as you haven't already used one of those cards, like Tremora, or at least if you can get it back onto the hand for the recycle power, you'll have the different options for all the other Icejade monsters to add to your hand to use, especially the lower numbers like Cosmoclore and also Kingfisher. And also, if you wanted to run a third Cosmoclore, White Stingray would be the card I would drop down to a copy of 2 of for a third copy of that card. I'm also running 2 copies of the field spell and 1 terraforming. This could be a third copy of Yugioh Cradle if you wish, but 3 copies ideally. But like I said, terraforming just takes up 1 spot. With Icejade C-Note Yugioh Cradle, when this card is activated, you can add 1 of your Icejade monsters that is banished or in your graveyard to your hand. Once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summon except during the damage step, you can target 1 water monster you control. That monster, along with any face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, loses attack equal to the target monster's original attack until the end of this turn. So not only is this card needed for the setup with our Cosmoclore, it also provides more of a way to get over a good majority of cards that your opponent may try to summon on the field, being able to target that water monster you control and that other monster, and then give the losing attack option with it with your own monsters. For more of the generic water support and for draw power, I also run 2 Moray of Greed, just being able to recycle back some water monsters, especially if I open up, let's say, multiple copies of Barrier Statue or White Stingray. I can at least hope to draw into some more usable cards like some of the Icejade monsters by doing so. Both of them are usable, but only mostly when you have some of the special summons set up for your other Icejade monsters. And for some of the one-ofs for the spells in the deck, I run the 1 Water Hazard. Now this is in here for the playstyle for the special summoning of your level 4 or lower monsters onto the field using this card. And also the added option for 1 Reasoning. This is in here for the search of all your different water monsters, whether it be their level or their additional setup as well. And also 1 Monster Reborn for special special summoning those resources back into the field. And when you summon out your White Stingray, you also get the additional choice of being able to use it as a tuner. And then lastly, the one Pot of Desires. Now this is optional for either running Pot of Desires or Call by the Grave in the deck to shut down more of your opponent's plays. With it, you have a chance of hitting some of your water monsters, but then it comes down more to if you just need that draw power for more resources to use. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. I don't know why I couldn't find a third copy of Icejade Erosion, but this continuous trap with also being searchable thanks to Icejade Green. You can target one face-up card your opponent controls, destroy one Icejade monster you control. If you do, negate the targeted card's effects until the end of this turn. If a face-up water monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card except by being destroyed, and except during the damage step, you can add to your hand or special summon one Icejade monster from your deck. So this is just another way to get out some of the different levels, or if you need one of the specific Icejade monsters onto the field. And like I said, it's searchable with Eye Green, so you can also have this as just a set continuous trap ready to go against your opponent. I also run 3 of the new Ice Barrier trap from the Brothers of Legend set. It actually doesn't have anything to do with the Ice Barrier deck. It helps the Ice Barrier deck, but it's mostly a water tribute specific type of trap. When an attack is declared involving your opponent's monster, that opponent's monster, you change it to 0, negate its effects, and also cannot change its battle position. And you can banish this card from your graveyard to send one level 5 or higher water monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then you can add one water monster from your graveyard to your hand. So also, until the end of this turn, after this effect resolves, you cannot special summon except for water monsters, which isn't really that big of a problem because you have plenty of level 5 monsters to send and set up with this card. And then for the last of the traps, I am also running 3 Paleozoic Dinomischus. It's another water option and another way to just set up more cards in our graveyard to summon off, giving us those water monsters in the graveyard to discard while also being able to banish your opponent's card. And when you activate one of your other traps that we run, you can special summon onto the field, giving you another water resource. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 of the new number 4 Stealth Kraken as an option for all face-up monsters on the field becoming water. It works great with the Kraken spawn, which can then also, once per turn, destroy one water monster your opponent controls. And then also with the playstyle of both being able to special summon spawn on top of number 4 as well. And then up to the materials this card had. They work very, very well together. That's why I'm running 2 copies of each in the deck. And I also run the 1 Bahamut Shark and the 1 Totally Awesome. You can make Totally Awesome with the Dinomischus, but most of the time I will detach with the Bahamut Shark to then special summon it onto the field. And I also run the 1 Abyss Dweller and the 1 number 103 Ragna Zero. I like the Ragna Zero for the play with the Ice Barrier trap and also our field spell. And for the Link monsters, I'm running 2 Marincess, Coral Anemone for the special summon power for your waters, 2 Miss Starboy for powering up the water monsters on the field, and 1 Area, the Water Charmer Gentle, for being able to take our opponent's own water resources. With the last of the monsters for the extra deck being 2 Synchros, which are Glacial Beast, Iceberg Narwhal, and Gungnir, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Now these can be summoned out when you make your White Stingray a tuner monster, using it with your level 3 A Green. I found it to be the most consistent option for your Synchros in the deck, being water as well. Otherwise, you just use White Stingray, like I said, for the rank 4 plays. As for some of the go-to plays in the deck, a lot of what this deck revolves around is just initial setup. If you're able to summon out your Cosmoclore, you have the defensive play of then being able to equip it with Kingfisher, which Kingfisher can easily be added since it's only 1 copy if you haven't opened it up yet already. You can search it with Icejade Cradle. Since there's only 1 copy, there's no chance of it being in the graveyard or in your hand to begin with. So then you'll have the equip play and the defensive play against your opponent, and then setting up the field spell or any of the other water monsters will come down to, if you open up cards like Icejade Tremora, being able to special summon out your barrier statue, locking your opponent into just water monsters, which are definitely a very uncommon card in most decks played today compared to all the other attributes they use. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's definitely an interesting deck. I tried to make a deck profile with it for the release of Burst of Destiny, but figured I'd wait till Battle of Chaos came out to see what else we would have to work with for the deck, and I definitely wasn't disappointed. It's definitely an interesting take on the water attribute altogether for Yu-Gi-Oh! And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.